Hello and welcome. I am Raghav, and today we are going to go very basic step by step, and we are going to learn how can we send email with reports attached from our automation framework. This is going to be very easy and very interesting, and I will start from scratch and I will show you each step, and you can follow me with hands-on and you can let me know if you face any issues. So we are first going to see how do we configure our email account for testing. Okay, so we will have to take care of a few things so that we can make our email account, so that if we have to send an email through a code using that email account, we are able to do that. And then we will see how we will send email with reports attached. So first we will try to send an email, and then we will also attach the report and then send the email, and then we will implement all of this in our automation framework, so that whenever they will be we run our test, and it will be able to send the reports in the email, and the reports will be attached in the email. Okay, so let's get started. And here step number one is, in our framework, in our project, we are going to add the dependency that will be used to send the email. Okay, so here there are a lot of libraries. What we are going to use is the Java mail or the Jakarta mail, which is the latest library for email. So let us go to our project. I have opened my Eclipse and I will go to my pom.xml here, and here I will go down and I will add the dependency here. Okay, so I am first going to the Maven repository and I will search for jakarta.mail. Okay, so earlier we used to use Java mail, but now this is the latest one. This is also coming from com.sun.mail. So this is the one we are going to use, the latest one, and you can take it from here, copy this latest version and add it to your pom.xml file. And I'm going to press Ctrl plus A on my keyboard and then Ctrl plus Shift plus F on my keyboard to correct the formatting. And now I'm pressing Ctrl S to save the project, and as I press Ctrl S, you can see here it is building. That means it is now getting all the libraries into our Maven dependencies. Okay, now we also have another, the Java activation API, Java mail activation, or the Jakarta activation API. Now this is optional, so this you can skip for now. We are going to skip this for now, and we will check in case we have any issues, and if we need this particular library, we will add it. But for now, let us not use it. We want to keep our libraries very light, and only the ones we need we will add them. So this is what we have done as step number one. We have added the required Maven library for our email and reporting, or sending reports with email. So this is done. Step number two is, now we need a email account and we will configure this email account. Now here you have to be very careful. Do not use any of your primary accounts. Do not use any of your official accounts. Do not use any of your office accounts. Create a new temporary email account and only test with that, so that if anything goes wrong and if it gets compromised, you don't lose anything, you don't lose any data, you do not compromise yourself, and you do not face any issues. Okay, so here you can create a test email account. In my case, I have created this new Gmail account. This I have created just before starting to record this video. And here, now this is Gmail. Okay, so what I'm going to show you will be as per Gmail, but if you're using any other email account, you can check and do the settings there. And there may be some other email accounts where you may not have to do some extra settings. But basically what we need is, we need to make sure that in case we use this email account to send email through a Java code, it is able to do it and it does not block it. So that's what we are going to do here. So this is a test Gmail account I have created. So the first thing is, I will go to manage your Google account. So this will take me to this page where I can go to security. Now basically here, in case of Gmail or Google, we need a app password that we will be using for our in our code. Okay, So for that, what you need is, the first thing is, we should have two-step verification on. So as of now it is off, so make sure that you go here and enable two-step verification. So I will say, so you can give your phone number here and click on next, and you can verify it. Okay, so once this is done, make sure that it shows that your uh, two-step verification is on. And now after this you can search for app password. Now if you don't see app password here, you can always search here app password, and you should get an option for app passwords here. So go here and you can give any name. Let's say I'm saying demo1 and say create, and you will get your app password. Now make sure that you save it somewhere so that you keep it handy with you, and it may not be available here. So make sure that you save this app password. So I'll just open a notepad and save it there. And see, when we use it in the code, we are not going to add these spaces. So it is a 16 digit or 16 character password without the spaces when we will use it in our code. Okay, so I'll just say done and go back to your email, and that's it. This is what we need for Gmail account. Now in case you're using any other account, you can check if you need any extra settings or app password or any other thing, but this is what we can do for Gmail. Now here first we are going to create a separate class for the email sending. We are going to write our code in a separate class and test it, and if everything goes fine, then we will take this code and add it to our framework. Okay, so here I'm going to go to my framework now, and here uh, let me go to, I can go to any of the packages, or I'm just going to create a new package under src main java. I'm doing a right click here and create a new package, and I will call it as demo. So this I'm just doing so that I keep my class separately here, and inside this demo package I'm again going to do a right click and new class, and I will call it as email sender. You can give any name here and say finish. So we have created a class, and let me expand this class. Okay, now in this class I'm going to write a main method. I will say main and press control space. I am getting this auto suggestion, so I should get a suggestion for creating a main method. Let me see. Yes, this is the main method. In case you don't get, you can also manually write it public static void main. So this is the method. Now the reason I'm creating a main method here, I will be running this particular class separately without using testng, so I will have to use a main method. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. I'm going to write this code here. So let us first create three class variables, or let us create these three variables in the main method: sender email, app password, and the recipient email. So I will say final string sender email, and I can give the name of the email account from which I will be sending the email. Then I will give the app password here. Then I will say give the receiver's email. Okay, now here the sender email is my email account, which is this one, demo1.raghav@gmail.com. So I will say here demo1.raghav@gmail.com, and here I have to give the app password. So make sure that you copy your app password, and here I have to give it without the spaces. So I will just remove these spaces from here. Okay, and copy the app password and paste it here. And then I also have to give a receiver email. Let's say for now I will just use the same email just for this checking for this demo, and then I can also change it. Okay, so this is what we have done. Now after this, let me call it recipient, which is okay. Okay, now after this we have to give the SMTP server properties. So this will depend on the email account that you are using. For Gmail, it is smtp.gmail.com is the host, and then we are using the port 587. So based on your email account, you will be giving this, and this you can find online. If you are using, let's say, Microsoft email or maybe some other email, you can find this online. This is for Gmail. This is what we will be using. So first I will say properties, create properties. I will say properties equals new properties. If I press Control spacebar, I should get the auto suggestion here. I'm taking this from javautil.properties, and then I will be adding all these properties. Okay, so I will say prop.put, and here I will say mail.smtp.authorization or auth. I will say this is true. After this, I will say mail.smtp.host, and here I will say smtp smtp.gmail.com. After this, we will say properties.put or prop.put, and here I will say mail.smtp.starttls.enable, and I will say this is, I have to say mail.smtp.starttls.enable, and this I will say is true, and true we have to give within quotes here as well. I will put true within quotes. Okay, and after this we have to say mail.smtp.port, and port we are using is 587. Port you can check, generally 587 should work, but otherwise you can check whether it works with 465, or based on the email account you are using you can check. So mail.smtp.port, I will say this is 587, and everything comes within quotes. Okay, so these are the properties that we are going to add: mail.smtp.auth, mail.smtp.host, mail.smtp.starttls.enable, and mail.smtp.port. Okay, so this is what we have done. Now after this, after adding the server properties, we will create a session with authentication. Okay, so for this we will add the session object. So I will say here session equals session dot get instance. Okay, and see, as I'm doing this, it has taken this session from Jakarta mail dot session library. Okay, otherwise you can also import it separately, and here I will say prop, and I will say new authenticator. Okay, so here it will start a function like this, and here I will say protected password authentication. So I will say here within the curly brackets I will say protected password authentication, and you can check all these import statements, so make sure that you also use the same import statements. And I will say I will use get password authentication. So again this is a function where we are just returning the authentication by saying return new password authentication, return new password authentication, and here we will be sending the sender email and app password. So sender email and app password. So using this email and password, it will do the authentication and return this. So we will know that authentication is pass or fail. Okay, and that's it. So this is done. Okay, after this we are just going to say session dot set debug true. Session dot set debug, we will say true. Okay, now see this code you may also find directly online, but I'm trying to add this code line by line so that you understand what does this mean, and you can also check if you're doing the right things and you are adding the right import libraries and everything. So here wherever you are facing this errors, you can check here. So if I say here, let us see the errors. Maybe some import issues, so let me just remove these import statements and try to add them. So here when I hover over this password authentication, I should be getting this from this Jakarta mail, which is fine. Now this session, or let us see this authenticator, this again I'm getting it from Jakarta mail. Now it is okay, and the session again it is from Jakarta mail, and that's it. And here I should give a semicolon. Okay, so see, this is how you can also check the imports should be proper. Okay, so this is now done. Now after this, let me also put this comments. This is SMTP server properties. Okay, then here we are creating a session with authentication. So here we are authenticating the account. Create session with authentication by using the app password. We are doing the authentication, and then it will return the session, and then we will say it set the session set debug true. Okay, this we have done. Now here after this we will create the email message in a try catch block. So let us create a try catch block here. I will say try, and here I will say catch. Okay, also you can say try, and if you press control space bar, it gives us an option to create a try catch block. So I can also create it like this without manually adding everything. Okay, in the catch exception we will handle the exception later on, but in the try block first we will create a email message. So we will say message equals new mime message, and we will pass the session instance. So I will say message and create a object message equals new mime message, and I will pass session object here. And here again we will have to get it from Jakarta mail. Okay, no, this is my message. This should come from here, or let me first add this message. Okay, let me check. Okay, let me say this. Okay, now I should get a option. Okay, let me just add the next one. So here if I say message dot set from, and here I will say new internet address and give the sender email. I will say new internet address, and I will pass the sender email here. So now you can see, let me show you the import statements. So it has taken this mail.message and Jakarta mail internet.mymessage libraries here. Okay, so you can just compare what you have. Okay, now I will also say set recipients. So I will say message.set recipients. So you can say recipient or recipients, and here you can say message.recipient type.to message.recipient type.to. So we can set to cc bcc anything. So I will say to, and here I will say internet address dot pass recipient email, internet address dot pass recipient email. Okay, so this is done. Then we are just setting the subject. So message dot set subject, whatever you want to set. Okay, message dot set subject. Okay, here I will say, let me just say here test email from automation, whatever you want to put here, QA automation. Okay, so and then we can also set the text. So I will say message dot set text, and here I can say, I will say hello, and I can put \n. This should take this to the new line. Okay, hello, and I will say this is a test email from Java regards QA team. Okay, after this, so once we have done this, we will now, so this was to create the message. Okay, so this, let me also put this here, the comment, create email message, and now we will be send the message or send the email. Okay, so this is send email. So in the send email, we will say transport dot send and the message. I will say transport, and this should come again from Jakarta mail or Java mail dot send and the message. Okay, so save your script, make sure that there are no errors. Also make sure that you have imported the right libraries. Okay, all right. Now after this is done, you, if you want to print something, you can print. So I will just say here SYSO, press control space and autocomplete. I will say email sent successfully. Okay, and in the catch you can just print the stack trace. If there's any exception, it will be cached here, and here I will say e dot print stack trace. Okay, I'm selecting everything, control A and control shift plus F to correct any formatting issues and save your project. Okay, now this is done. Step number 3 is done. Step number 4, before going to step number 4, let us just try sending this, try running this and check if it is able to send the email. So make sure everything is correct, make sure that you have saved, and now when you do a right click, you will see an option to run as Java application, and we are getting this because we have a main method in this class. So let's say I will say run as Java application, and let us see, it is running, and yes, it says email sent successfully. I will have to go and check in my email, and yes, you can see I have just received this email, test email from QA automation. If I open this, this is hello, this is test email from Java regards QA team. Okay, So we are done. Now see, you may be facing some issues, so you will have to check. Before recording this video, I was facing some issues. Sometimes the authentication was not true, no, not correct. Once I had given spaces in the app password, so I removed the spaces. So make sure you are giving everything correctly. All this sender email, app password, recipient email, all these are correct. And then all these server properties are correct. Check, double check all these. Make sure that the creating of session is done properly. You have imported the right libraries. Okay, so all this you have to check. Your email should be configured properly. So after doing all this, if you try this, you should be able to send the email. And if you face any issues, copy the log, whatever you see in the on the console. So you can see whenever we run, we get the details on the console here. So whatever you get here, you can check online and you can troubleshoot and fix it. Okay, if you still face errors, you can always let me know. Okay, so we have done step number 3. We are able to send the email. Now we will see, we will update this code to also add the attachment to our email. Okay, so now let us see how do we add the attachment. So here, after this after this message dot set subject, so let me again expand this. So after this message dot set subject, this set text we are going to comment out because we will be setting the text separately. Okay, and before sending the email, we are going to add a block for adding the attachment. Okay, so here we will set the attachment. So here you will say mime body part text part equals new mime body part. So let me say mime body part. So we will be adding all the parts. That is, first is the text part equals to new mime body part, and I will be importing it again from this jakarta.mail.internet. Okay, after this I will say, after set, I will set the text here. So I will now here say text part dot set text dot set text, and I am just going to add this string here what we had used earlier. I can put this under, so I'm adding two next line characters here. Hello, this is a test email from Java, regards QAT. So this is email body part. Now we will add the attachment part. Okay, so again we will say, so now we have the attachment part. So we will say mime body part attachment part. So this is the mime body part we are using to add the any parts like text part, attachment part equals new mime body part. And here we will say, we will first take the path of the file that we have to attach. Okay, so it will be report in our case. So let's say here, let me see if we have some report that we can attach. So if you go to the reports folder, okay, so I'm saying extend report here, and this is what I have to use. So I will say string file path. Now I can just say report, and I can say extend report.html, but it will be good if we give the full path, the absolute path. And for that, for getting the complete path, first we will get the path for this particular folder using system.getProperty and user dir. So this will give the location or the path of the project folder, system.getProperty user.dir, and then I'm just going to append this reports extend report.html here. So this is what I'm going to append here. If you want, you can also try to print this on the console and check what is the path I'm saying here. Attachment path is, and I will say plus file path. So this will print on the console. So this is what is the path we are going to use, and then we will say attachment part dot attach file, new file, file path. So attachment part that we had created on line 49, this is what we are using here, dot attach file, file, new file, file path. So this, we are creating a new object for file and we are passing the file path here. Okay, and again it will throw an error for file, so make sure that you get it from java.io. So import it from here. Let me also again show you all the import statements so that you can compare it. Okay, and in any case I will keep this project on this link. This is my GitHub project link, so you can also refer from there. I will also provide this link in the description of this video. You can check it from there as well. So we have done this, and now we have to combine the email body and attachment part. So here, after doing this, I will say combine body and attachment parts. And here we will say multi-part, because until now we were saying mime body part. Now we will say multi-part, mime multi-part. I will say mime multi-part, and I can give it some name. Let's say multi-part equals new mime multi-part, and make sure that you get it from, if you hover over here it will give us options. Make sure that you get it from this our library jakarta.mail, and then we will say multipart.add body part dot add body part, and here we will say text part. Okay, and then add body part attachment part, multipart dot add body part, and here we will say attachment part. Okay, and then we will set content multipart. We will say message dot set content multipart. Okay, so this, after this we should be able to send our email along with the attachment. So rest of the code remains same. So this sending of email and rest of the code remains as it is. So make sure that you save everything, there are no errors. You can check all the import statements are correct. Okay, and now let us try to run it. I will do a right click, run as Java application. Okay, so okay, there was an error. So here, okay, it says it could not find file path. So let me see, it is the path is extend report.html in report. Let us see, do we have this here? In reports we have extend report.html. Let me check if this is what we created here. Report. Okay, this is reports, not reports. The folder name is reports. That was the mistake. Okay, the folder name here is reports. Okay, so this is should work now. Let me confirm. This is now extend reports, extend report.html. Should be fine now. Let us again run it and check. So I'm running it now. Okay, looks like this is fine. In the console everything looks okay. And if I check my email, and yes, you can see here I have got the email and I also have got the report attached. Okay, so this is the report attached. I can now download it and check. So I have downloaded this. Let me just download it on my desktop, and here it is now. I will open it and check. Let's open it with a browser, and yes, looks like we are able to get the report. Of course the report is empty, that's fine, that's a report issue, or we don't have to worry about that, but we are able to get our report attached in our email. This is how we can send email along with reports attached. I hope this was useful. Thank you for watching, and never stop learning.